Hello, welcome to Book Journey. Today, I will be interpreting the book Redesigning Work, How to Transform Your Organization and Make Hybrid Work for Everyone, published in March 2024. This book addresses the question of what future work should look like, where we work, why we work, and how we work. The author describes it as a guide for people to redesign their work. The book was written during the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic has, to a certain extent, reshaped our ways of working and provided an opportunity for us to reflect on various issues in our working methods. These issues include attending too many meetings, enduring long commutes, not having enough time to spend with family, or feeling stressed due to the need to be available 24/7. We began to question these common phenomena and realized that working from home, in a cafe, in another city, or even another country is possible. An increasing number of people are choosing to become digital nomads, and many are also seeking more flexible working patterns in terms of time. Multistage careers are gradually replacing the traditional three-stage life. We place greater emphasis on opportunities such as changing jobs, starting a side business, and pursuing further education. Our demands for work are also gradually changing as we seek working methods that better suit us. The author of this book is Linda Grattan, who previously wrote the bestseller The 100-Year Life, Living and Working in an Age of Longevity. She is a professor of organizational behavior and management at London Business School and an expert in human resource strategy. She has served as the chair of the World Economic Forum's Leadership Council, the chair of the World Economic Forum's Future Council, and the chair of the Drucker Management Prize jury. It is evident that the author holds a prominent position not only in the academic world, but also in the business community. It is precisely because she frequently interacts with entrepreneurs that she keenly feels that redesigning work is not just a one-sided demand from employees, but something that global businesses take very seriously and an inevitable trend. Executive teams in companies are also contemplating how to redesign work to make employees more efficient and flexible. As early as 2010, the author launched a research initiative called the Future of Work Consortium, where she discussed the ideal future working model with executives from over 90 companies. In 2015, she introduced an MBA course titled The Future of Work at London Business School, where she listened to the perspectives of thousands of students. In the book, the author approaches from the standpoint of entrepreneurs and team leaders, exploring what kind of working models should be designed for employees. However, for most readers who are employees, this book is equally valuable and can provide some inspiration for finding a working method that suits them. In the book, the author outlines 4 steps to redesign work. In the following interpretation, I will introduce these 4 steps one by one and explain how they can inspire us to envision our work. Alright, let's formally dive into this book. The first step the author suggests for redesigning work is called understanding what matters. To put it simply, before we redesign our work, we need to understand one thing. When it comes to working methods, what do we care about? In the book, the author summarizes 3 key points of a job. The first is productivity. The first criterion to determine whether your working method is rational and efficient is whether it enhances your productivity. For most jobs, there are 4 main factors that affect productivity: energy, focus, collaboration, and cooperation. Energy is the primary element for conducting work. This is especially important in projects with clear deadlines or meetings that require high concentration. Maintaining energy and team vitality is crucial. Focus is equally important, as some tasks require intense concentration, such as writing reports or checking data. These 2 elements, energy and focus, mainly pertain to individual work. In addition, a significant part of work involves collaboration with colleagues. The third factor, collaboration, and the fourth factor, cooperation, influence whether teamwork can proceed smoothly. In the second step of job design, we will analyze these 4 elements together. Productivity is the first thing we care about in work, as it determines whether we can complete our tasks smoothly. The second thing we care about in work is interpersonal networks. Here, when we talk about interpersonal networks, we are not referring to job satisfaction, but to the knowledge that interpersonal networks can bring you. The author categorizes the knowledge obtained in work into two types: explicit knowledge and tacit knowledge. Explicit knowledge is clear and easily accessible, such as the company's knowledge manual, which new employees can quickly use to understand how projects operate and share the experiences summarized by colleagues. However, in addition to explicit knowledge, much valuable knowledge within a company is tacit, such as insights, technical know-how, and their perspectives on the industry and the world. This knowledge is tacit and is essentially embedded in interpersonal relationships. We need to socialize with colleagues, get to know them, and build trust in order to gain their tacit knowledge. Whether you work from home or go to the office, how the company's workstations are arranged, who you sit next to in meetings, and who you might run into in the hallway all shape your interpersonal network at work. Interpersonal networks consist of strong ties and weak ties. For the formation of strong ties, proximity is the most significant factor. Researchers have studied friendships among college students and calculated the relationship between friendship intimacy and dormitory distance. The result is straightforward. The closer the dormitories, the greater the likelihood of students forming long-lasting relationships. In the office, proximity is equally important. The engineering consultancy firm Arup, based in the UK, has over 15,000 experts and operates in 140 countries. The head of their Melbourne office told the author that their office houses engineers, designers, planners, technical experts, and consultants. The head wishes for them to interact and exchange ideas. Therefore, every quarter, he rotates the seating of different teams, much like how seats were rotated in classrooms during school days. Strong ties help us uncover others' tacit knowledge because, with mutual understanding and trust, people are more willing to share their tacit knowledge. However, since people in strong ties become increasingly familiar with each other, if you want to gain new perspectives and viewpoints, you need to look to weak ties. Sociologist Mark Granovetter conducted a classic study on interpersonal networks, focusing on how people find new jobs. He found that when someone is looking for a new job, it is only in rare cases that the position is recommended by a close friend. More often, it is a friend of a friend who extends an offer. In other words, in most cases, people obtain job opportunities through weak ties, and new perspectives and viewpoints are also typically acquired through weak ties. In the workplace, to increase weak ties, serendipitous encounters with people are crucial. In the office, we can not only communicate with colleagues we are close to, but also create accidental meetings through various public spaces, such as the break room. When working from home, the sparks of creativity ignited by such chance encounters are significantly diminished. In summary, interpersonal relationships and the tacit knowledge we can obtain from them are the second thing we need to care about when designing our working methods. You need to consider whether your current working method or the one you wish to redesign can meet your needs for interpersonal relationships in the work environment, allowing you to gain others' tacit knowledge from strong ties while also creating more weak ties. The third point we want to talk about is what we want to gain from work and the company. Have our views on work changed today? What are our new demands for future work? When reshaping our work or seeking new opportunities, we need to consider these questions. For team leaders, they also need to consider the needs of their employees and design work accordingly. Firstly, when it comes to work, an issue we are increasingly concerned about is whether it will harm our physical health. The author wrote in The 100-Year Life that with the development of the economy and medical technology, the life expectancy in many countries around the world increases by 2 years every decade. For our generation, a lifespan of 100 years could become a reality. The increase in life expectancy makes us more concerned about our health. No one wants to live to 90, but suffer from illness for 10 or even 20 years. We hope to enjoy a healthy old age, which requires us to develop and maintain healthy living and working habits early on. This means that we will place greater emphasis on whether a job will consume our health, whether it can ensure that we get 8 hours of sleep, and whether it allows us time to exercise. Health is the most important demand we have. In addition to health, the second demand we focus on is balancing work and family life. Nowadays, as women become more independent, balancing work and family is no longer just a major concern for women. Family structures around the world have also become more diverse, with single mothers and fathers raising children on their own, as well as child-free couples who choose not to have children. Therefore, for team leaders, it is crucial not to make assumptions about employees' personal lives. Men may be just as interested in parenting and parental leave as women, and not every adult has children, or wants to start a family. A multinational company found that over 60% of its employees were single, either living alone or with their parents. Nowadays, people have diverse choices in relationships, and companies need to prioritize inclusivity and diversity. The third point we focus on in work is lifelong learning and multistage life. With the development of artificial intelligence, people have started to worry whether part of their job will be replaced by AI. This anxiety can be transformed into a motivation to learn. Therefore, people hope that companies will support them in upgrading or learning new skills, provide rich learning and growth opportunities, and lead their career development. At the same time, we are transitioning from the traditional three-stage life, which consists of typical education, employment, and retirement stages, to the multi-stage life in the age of longevity. Young people in their 20s may choose to take a gap year for 2 years. Those in their 30s may return to university, and those in their 40s may purchase online courses to acquire a new skill. People may engage in a side business, pursue further education, or travel and explore life at any stage. The traditional full-time job is being dismantled. As people's work becomes more flexible and free to change, more life stages will naturally emerge. People may take some time at any stage of their lives to explore more options. In this situation, it is no longer appropriate for entrepreneurs to predict employees' life stages based on their age, or to predict their needs and expectations. Therefore, entrepreneurs need to adopt a more personalized approach to understanding employees' needs. All right, that concludes the first step of redesigning work, understanding what matters. We have understood the core elements of productivity, how interpersonal relationships in work affect the spread of tacit and explicit knowledge, and what people's demands and expectations for work are. Next, we should move on to the second step, redesigning the workplace and work time. One significant impact of the pandemic is that it has prompted us to reconsider the workplace and work time. What does flexible work really mean? Should we continue to move towards virtual and online work, have everyone stay in the office, or adopt a flexible working model? What are the pros and cons of different approaches? Workplaces can be divided into two types: collocated collaboration in the office and distributed work at home or in a cafe. Work time can be categorized into synchronous and asynchronous time. Due to the necessity of working from home during the COVID-19 pandemic, many people realized that distributed work and asynchronous work are not only feasible, but also better. Below, we can look at how to choose the combination of work time and place that suits you, in conjunction with the 4 elements related to productivity, energy, focus, collaboration, and cooperation. Let's first address the issue of the workplace. Distributed work can save commuting time and conserve people's energy. People can spend the saved time on exercise or socializing, which can also improve their mood. When working from home, we are less likely to be disturbed, have more space for thinking, can cook our own meals, take walks nearby, and take care of family members. However, at the same time, working from home requires employees to have a certain degree of self-discipline and planning. It may also shrink social networks, lack face-to-face contact with colleagues, and reduce cooperation efficiency. When working synchronously in the office, people can promote cooperation through face-to-face contact and extend interpersonal relationships through unexpected encounters with unfamiliar colleagues. However, working in the office can be energy-consuming, as sitting for several hours is not conducive to health. Commuting can also take up too much time, leaving people exhausted when they get home. However, commuting is not entirely without benefits. The process of commuting is also a process of shifting identities, a transition that psychologists refer to as boundary work. This means that when we leave home for work, we initiate a transition program that diminishes our sense of home and enhances our sense of work, allowing us to smoothly switch gears and focus once we arrive at the office. Some transitions are spatial, such as moving from home to the office. Others are cognitive, shifting from thinking about preparing a child's lunch at home to considering monthly sales data at the office. And still others are relational, transitioning from being a parent at home to being a team leader at the office. Working from home lacks this transition, which can make it difficult to concentrate. Therefore, for remote work, role transition is crucial. Many people have shared how they maintain a good working state while working from home, and to sum it up, it's essentially about one thing: transitioning roles and establishing boundaries. When boundaries between different roles are clear, we are less likely to feel confused, and our attention is less easily diverted. If you are someone who occasionally needs to work from home, you can start by establishing boundaries in terms of physical space, cognitive space, and relational space, and design a transition ritual between different roles. For example, changing into work clothes or starting the day with a cup of coffee can mark the transition of roles. Next, let's talk about work time. If your work time is synchronized with your colleagues, you can communicate at any time, which enhances collaboration. However, this also means you need to be constantly available, and your work may be frequently interrupted. We know that from a neuroscientific perspective, multitasking is actually a myth. There is no true multitasking. The brain incurs a time cost when switching tasks, and frequent task switching reduces accuracy and increases cognitive load. Therefore, being frequently interrupted and switching tasks can deplete your energy and focus. When your work time is asynchronous with your colleagues, meaning you don't need to communicate frequently with others, you have dedicated time for yourself, which allows you to concentrate on your tasks and improves focus. However, collaboration with colleagues may be affected. Moreover, working alone can have some subtle negative impacts. On one hand, humans are social beings and do not like to be isolated. Working alone for too long can lead to a fear of isolation. On the other hand, people need to know what their team members are working on and adjust their behavior accordingly to stay in sync with the team, which makes them feel comfortable and secure. Different types of workplaces and work times have their pros and cons. You can approach it this way: view the office as a place for collaboration, consider synchronous, interconnected time as the foundation for collaboration, and actively engage with colleagues in discussions and social interactions. Treat home as a source of energy and designate a separate workspace for yourself. Regard asynchronous time as a period for focused work, and based on your state at different times of the day, set aside an uninterrupted time slot to complete tasks that require concentration. By coordinating these 4 approaches in your work, design the ideal combination of workplace and work time to maximize energy conservation and productivity enhancement. Speaking of which, the book also discusses an interesting topic: what does the ideal office look like? Let's look at a real example. Fujitsu is Japan's top IT vendor and the world's 4th largest IT services company. During the COVID-19 pandemic, most employees shifted from the office to working from home. Fujitsu's executive team realized they could take this opportunity to redesign the office. So, they conducted a survey among employees and found that 30% preferred working from home, while 55% favored a hybrid model of working from home and the office. Although many employees enjoyed working from home at times, very few wanted to work from home all the time. Employees also pointed out that commuting to the office in the city center took too long. Based on the survey results, Fujitsu's design team began to experiment with redesigning the workplace. Their optimized plan was to create 3 types of offices. The first type is the shared office, which is somewhat like WeWork. It primarily addresses the issue of commuting time. In the spring of 2020, Fujitsu began constructing office spaces near employees' residential communities, equipped with single-person work cubicles, network equipment, and printers. Outside the communities, they also built shared offices at some train stations, available for use by any local Fujitsu employees. In the shared office, employees can handle tasks that require concentration and hold online meetings with others. Shared offices can solve the commuting problem, but this type of office cannot effectively promote team collaboration and the spread of knowledge. Therefore, they constructed a second type of office, satellite offices. Satellite offices are mainly built near transportation hubs and other interpersonal network nodes, as well as in the suburbs of Tokyo and other major cities. Project teams can book space, hold project meetings, and the offices are equipped with video conferencing equipment and coffee stations, suitable for employees during collaborative project periods. The third type of office is called the central office. This office space is open, airy, and thoughtfully designed, equipped with brainstorming facilities, with the aim of stimulating creativity. Fujitsu employees choose to meet with suppliers here, or engage in brainstorming and idea generation. These 3 different types of office spaces can meet the diverse needs of employees. There is also an interesting theory about the ideal office design called the prospect refuge theory. It means that humans have 2 needs. One is prospect, which is to have as wide a view as possible to observe the surrounding environment. For our ancestors, a broad view could tell them where there was water and where there might be prey lurking. To this day, we still have this preference. For example, houses with a wide view are more popular. In contrast, we also have another need, refuge. Our ancestors needed caves for shelter, and we need roofs to protect us from the wind and rain. Good spatial design needs to strike a balance between prospect and refuge, eliminating obstacles to bring people together while also providing enough private space. Good office design is the same. The office building needs to have some open spaces to provide a wide view, allowing employees to interact better, and at the same time, there should be private individual workspaces where employees can quietly handle their work and thoughts. In terms of working methods, there is a multinational information technology services and consulting company in India called Tata Consultancy Services. Their executive team has always followed 2 routine procedures: daily stand-up meetings and retrospectives. Small teams in the company hold stand-up meetings every day, usually with 15 to 20 people. They discuss the work of the previous day, track each other's progress, check whether the project is on schedule, and prioritize tasks for the day. The meeting lasts only 15 minutes, which makes the purpose of the meeting stronger. After the project ends, the team conducts a closed-loop retrospective and compares it with data from other projects in the company. Managers at Tata Consultancy Services told the author that they often consider whether a meeting can be cancelled directly. If a meeting cannot be cancelled, whether it can be conducted asynchronously, and if it can be conducted asynchronously, whether the meeting time can be compressed as much as possible. This is because they are aware that the more complex the workflow and schedule, the less motivated employees are to follow it. We have just discussed the second step, reimagining the workplace and work time. Next, we should move on to the third step, which is to test whether the working model is reasonable. The author believes that a good working model should be able to adapt to the future and support technological transformation. Firstly, a good working model needs to be able to adapt to future trends. What the author refers to here is what we just mentioned. People have entered the stage of a 100-year life, and they have new expectations and demands for work. A good working model should meet different needs and the flexibility that people expect. For example, executives at Unilever are trying a new type of employment contract called the U-shaped working model. Employees no longer have to work fixed hours every day, but can choose projects that suit their life rhythms. Every month, employees receive a prepaid sum and then earn task-based wages according to the work they complete. Secondly, a good working model needs to support technological transformation. With the development of technology, people's expectations for work are also changing. The fear of being replaced by machines either motivates people to improve their work capabilities or makes them want to relearn new skills. People are also learning how to apply the latest AI technologies in their work to improve efficiency. Team leaders need to consider whether they have provided employees with the corresponding support and training to better utilize these latest tools and enhance their digital skills. The author points out that companies need to build learning infrastructure to help employees keep up with the latest trends. Tata Consultancy Services, which we mentioned earlier, is a good example. They have an internal learning platform that offers a wealth of online training to help employees improve and expand their skills, and also awards skill badges to employees. Employees can also post blog articles on the platform, share knowledge they find valuable, and discuss technical issues. So far, we have discussed 3 steps in redesigning work: understanding what matters, reimagining the workplace and work time, and testing the new working model. The 4th step, which the author calls action and creation, is essentially a call to action, and we won't elaborate on it here. That concludes my interpretation of this book. Today, we have read the book Redesigning Work together. It is a work design guide for team leaders, but this book has reference value for everyone. With the development of technology and the shift in people's lifestyles, our working practices are also gradually changing. What will future work look like? Where will we work, and how will we work? What criteria should we use to find a working method that suits us? In the book, the author summarizes the methods for redesigning work. The first step is to understand what matters in work. The first point is productivity, which is determined by energy, focus, collaboration, and cooperation. The second point is the establishment of interpersonal networks in work and the acquisition of tacit knowledge. Strong ties can help us uncover others' tacit knowledge, while weak ties can help us gain new perspectives and viewpoints. The third point is to understand our demands for work, including maintaining physical health, balancing work and life, learning faster than machines, and multistage life. The second step is to reimagine the workplace and work time. We have discussed the pros and cons of collocated collaboration and distributed work, synchronous work and asynchronous work, and also explored what the ideal office should look like. The third step is to design and test the working model. A good working model should be able to adapt to the future and support technological transformation. For ordinary people, we can use the criteria discussed above to test our own work. For team leaders, they can consider how to design a more ideal working model for their employees. Listening to this, you might feel that the content of the book is still somewhat idealistic for us now. However, some companies around the world have already begun to try out these new ways of working and have achieved good results. Although the book is titled Future Work, more flexible and personalized ways of working may not be so far away.